is coming to an end. And next week we should get a verdict. How are you feeling about it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My opinion, and I didn't follow Puff case day by day, but I followed it enough. And this is how I look at it. So first of all, the prosecution rested its case yesterday or today. We're looking at 7 weeks of the whole case, 28 days testimony, an hour's worth of sexual footage.
Right.
2 sex workers testified, 2 celebrities testified, 7 employees testified, 3 victims testified. When I go back to the original charges, Art, the federal indictment, RICO, racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations charge, interstate sex trafficking, interstate prostitution. This is not a civil case. When we look at Fat Joe, we look at Tyler Perry, we look at Smokey Robinson, those are civil cases. Fat Joe's could get criminal, but I'm going to treat it as civil for now because I don't know what the statute of limitations are. In a civil case, Art, the jury only has to determine whether or not the crimes this person is being accused of were more likely to have happened than not. That's it.
That's a terrible burden of proof. That's like conspiracy. Yeah, that's like conspiracy though. So instead of that's hard to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, man, you seem like right. That's like conspiracy. That's a hard court. Yeah, everybody probably did it. Leave alone, man.
Is it more likely that he did this than did not do this?
Yeah, probably.
That's civil case. We're talking federal criminal case with Sean Combs.
Gotta prove it. Absolutely, beyond shadow. You take somebody's freedom. Gotta prove it. Take money. Yeah. Not your freedom. That's crazy.
We're talking federal criminal case with Diddy. So the standard is not whether the jury thinks it is more likely that Puffy did these things than not. It's a higher threshold, a higher burden of proof. The jury has to believe, and the prosecution must have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Sean Combs is likely to have committed these offenses. A reasonable doubt, Art says, if a reasonable person is presented with these charges and this evidence, if a reasonable person is presented
with 12 reasonable people, facts,
these charges and this evidence, would they have a reasonable doubt as to the conviction that you have entered into?
With 12 reasonable people, all 12 of them, nobody's like, I don't know.
Right.
That's why I think you're going to beat it. We won't know till probably the next couple days, but that's why it's all 12 of them, nobody's like, I don't know if this is RICO.
Right.
All it takes one to get a hung jury. Yeah. I don't know. RICO? Yes. Domestic violence, yes.
But like you said,
whatever you call being a John.
Well, they say state to state. What they saying is state to state, like, you know.
Yeah, so if you were John from state to state, you bought some, well, he wasn't buying pussy, but you know, but with the girls he was kind of in a way. It's just not RICO. It's not RICO. That's not what it is. No. This has been a state charge, domestic violence, 15 years ago.
Right. Reasonable person have a doubt about Sean Combs' innocence. And if a reasonable person would have a doubt about Sean Combs' innocence, you cannot convict. It is a high burden, Art, and in my opinion, I do not believe the prosecution. I do not believe that the United Snakes of America have proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, they definitely did not convince me.
No. Sean Combs engaged in a pattern of RICO. I don't think they proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he participated in interstate sex trafficking. And I don't think they have proven beyond
right, because even in that, you talking about somebody being he probably bought him a plane ticket. Some boys
flew him out or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Some boys. That I don't think that's not the same as a pimp with a whole driving from town to town. That's interstate in the traditional sense.
Right. Well, that's the picture they're trying to paint.
Yeah. That's not no. And then if that was the case, traffic to who? To him? You understand what I'm saying? Like if somebody's being trafficked, you know what I'm saying? You spreading it around like money.
Right. Or they going against their will.
Right. Or against their will. We're not even talking about that part.
They're like, I'm going, they're paying.
Yeah, that's
everybody said they got paid.
Maybe after this, the feds will ease up on a RICO for everything. Everything ain't a RICO.
I doubt it.
reasonable doubt that Sean Combs have engaged in interstate prostitution. I believe they relied too heavily on freak-off details.
Right.
Freak-off footage.
Which was funny for us, but that shit didn't mean nothing.
Chill, Sam.
That's some nasty stuff. What the hell I got to do with anything?
Like rub jizz on his nipples.
And freak-off testimony. Art, he's not on trial for having freak-offs.
Nope.
Sean Combs was on trial and being accused of interstate trafficking of people for against their will. Forced labor. That wasn't proven.
Never.
Interstate prostitution.
Never.
Not from what we heard.
Never. Them bras could have left anytime they wanted.
Yeah.
But they feared for their money.
Right. They feared their rent wasn't going to get paid.
Right.
We're going to get this 10 grand a month.
No.
They might have did a better job with that than the sex trafficking, Art. But I still don't believe they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. And the RICO? No way. Look at the RICO.
Well, I think they threw a big part of it out. You know, RICO got a lot of components to it, but they threw a few parts of it out.
Yeah, they dropped a couple of charges.
Case, Art, it basically hung on the testimony of two people, Kid Cudi and the young lady, and no disrespect to either of them. And the RICO basically dealt with...
And even Kid Cudi didn't say he saw him blow up my car. You know, it looked like he might have
sound
could have.
funny. Just sound funny like
Say he saw it, but he did say, you know, it looked like he might could have probably.
That's right.
And then
set it up.
And then he was like, "What car, nigga?"
Right. Blow up what?
The fact that Puff allegedly forced this woman by gunpoint to take him to Kid Cudi's home, and he had made plans to blow up Kid Cudi's home and firebomb his car. The problem, Art, whether that happened or not, you're still only dealing with one person, and the situation sounds very personal. It doesn't sound like it's related to Bad Boy Records. This sounds like it's a personal vendetta between Puff and Kid Cudi.
Right.
Even if it was related to Bad Boy Records.
Exactly. Not a RICO.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like some corporate.
Even if he did, no, not RICO at all.
Right.
It's only one person. Where are the other victims of the RICO? Where are the other criminal behaviors?
Yeah, you need conspirators. It's a racketeering. What's the RICO stand for? Racketeering. I ain't know. Yeah. Conspiracy. Anyway, organized crime. Somebody got to be organized.
Right.
The niggas working at the record company. This is what Diddy said. Okay, I guess that's
right.
That's not. The shit was designed to take down the mob.
Right.
They would do crime separately. And
organized crime.
Organized crime. So and they needed to show that, hey, these dudes are working together. Right. This is not just a robbery. This is not just a bank heist or whatever. This
is a collab.
They working together. They trading information. They paying it up. Nothing like that. This nigga's working at a record company and their boss was crazy. And he liked to beat bitches and sniff cocaine.
Pink cocaine.
Pink cocaine. It's fancier.
That support the RICO charge. For RICO, to my understanding, I'm not an attorney, you got to show a pattern of using your organization to engage in criminal behavior. 1 or 2 incidents with Kid Cudi, that does not establish RICO for Bad Boy Records. 1 alleged attempted arson or 2 alleged attempted arsons, that doesn't establish a pattern of Bad Boy being used in a racketeering influenced criminal organization way.
Plus, even they trying to say that, what money they make? Ain't like he did it for money.
We don't know what we know what the motive is.
Yeah, it was his personal freak shit.
Yeah.
The fuck, them hoes could've.
Kid Cudi was messing with Cat.
Right. Personal beef. All this state charge type shit. Which should have been a long time ago. Which I swear to God, these people knew about. I personally believe this is a humiliation ritual. Going back to the conspiracy.
Smear campaign.
I think somebody up top didn't like how he was moving. He started talking that shit about starting a black political party and all that. He didn't know he been doing.
He was Gray Sue Ciroc, the owners. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, he got a bunch of stuff going on. Trying to step to the next level. I think he got too big for his britches. I'm telling you, that's what this was. And somebody strong said, "Go get him." We've been watching them. We've been letting them do it all the time.
Press the button.
Yeah, press the button. Release the hounds, nigga.
You're right.
And that's why, Art, I believe the prosecution slid the judge a letter yesterday or today and told the judge that they will not be including the attempted kidnappings and the attempted arson as part of their RICO case.
There was a girl that said she went to work every day. They kept kidnapping her. She kept coming back to work and they kept kidnapping her. Every day.
For a week.
Fucking van pull up. Get in the car, bitch. Put bag
Crushing her for 12 hours and then just release it.
Put back in front of the house.
She come back to work next day.
What's loud? I'm quitting that job.
To me, that's a victory for Puff. Because it says, we know that this is too weak. The jury is not going to convict on this evidence. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this is likely to have happened.
I think they're going to come back quick.
Think so? You think they're going to deliberate quickly?
I think they're going to like, come on, this is bullshit.
Possibly. I mean, been too long. They only get paid like $20 a day.
Right. It was funny at first, but I didn't get the fuck out of here. Y'all agree? Come on, this nigga didn't.
Right.
Not going to convict on that, so they told the judge, we're not even going to use that. They are going to rely heavily, Art, on that sex trafficking and that prostitution. I think they know they don't get the RICO. I would be shocked if they get the RICO. They're hanging on sex trafficking, they're hanging on prostitution, and as I've said earlier, I don't think they have much of a case there either.
Yeah, but
all this case prove
that's a fair crime, prostitution.
Yeah.
I guess it's so
wow. Over
28 days.
Time for that though.
The judge could be vindictive and max them out. You know, a lot of sentences have a max that's much bigger than what people normally get.
Well, as we see,
really, for them shit, that should be like time served.
Right. But son, as we see, when you have people conspiring against you, we're talking about large entities.
Yeah, they can
conspire. Yeah, they can smash you. They can smash them.
Yeah, because stuff like that would be like between 1 year and 10 years allegedly. I don't know something.
Over these 7 weeks, this case proved that Puffy has some very serious psychosexual issues.
Sure.
This case proved that he might be a nymphomaniac.
All kinds of shit.
This case proves that he may have some unaddressed childhood emotional issues that he's taken out on these women and these sex incidents, these freak-offs.
Yeah. Abusive.
It proves that he engages in risky behavior. It proves he got a lot of people that don't like him for whatever reason. It proves he got a lot of girlfriends that didn't feel like they got out of the case what they should have got out of the case.
That's what I really think it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it really is. Because you had 10 years to tell us shit.
Hey, baby.
You wait till your money get low and then all of a sudden you need money.
He hurt me.
Fuck out of here.
How? I don't see how he gets convicted on freak-off footage, freak-off details, and freak-off testimony. Now, I'm going to say this. The verdict and the sentence. And the sentence is going to be more important than the verdict, I believe, Art.
Oh yeah.
But the verdict and
if there's because I don't think you'll get away scot free. I haven't seen the full list of charges. I'm sure they got some.
You just say he should get time served because he's already locked.
That's not scot free. That's not scot free. Buying hookers. Any nigga hookers?
How long he been locked? He been locked what? A couple of months now?
No, it's like a year.
He been a year already?
Yeah, he been down like a whole year.
Damn.
Yeah. For buying some nigga hooker ass niggas. Come on, how much time you get for that?
I don't know.
The fuck? Well, what a lady hooker, any hooker? Like what the fuck?
True that.
That's like a ticket or some shit. Allegedly.
And the Diddy case is going to reveal one thing. What the elites feel about Puff.
Oh, we know what they feel about.
He may still be to the entertainment power structure. If he gets convicted and they throw the book at him, that's the elite saying, we're completely done with you and we need you to go away. Mm-hmm. If he gets
and I think even then he can still beat on appeal. This bullshit, yo.
Yeah, but appeal can be dragged out.
Yeah,
what he said, but he said, you already said, if he get a slap on the wrist, what did you already say? If he get a slap on the wrist, what? The elites do what?
I personally
What's your take?
I think the elites don't fuck with him, period. I think that's why he here in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I think just in general, and some power's been moved around, but we'll see. But let's see what Dr. Umar said. He's smarter than me.
Slap on the wrist, and I'm going to define slap on the wrist, Art, for me, as any sentence of 10 years down to acquittal. If Puffy gets a sentence of 10 years...
10 years still sounds.
Shit, that's a hard number.
That's a hard number. Especially 58 is 10 years, nigga. All that goddamn money, you sitting in this bitch, that could be your last 10 years.
Down to acquittal, I will see that as a victory. And the reason I will see that as a victory, and a sign from the elites that we can still use you, is the sex trafficking case is a minimum of 15 years to life, Art. He can get 15 years to life on the sex trafficking. On the RICO,
same kind of, like, that's what they give a nigga that's like a cartel.
Right. El Chapo.
Bunch of bitches in the back of a truck.
Right. 18-wheeler. Some of them perished on the way coming across the border. Right.
This nigga pissed on one bitch.
Shows I
don't know what the minimum is, but he can get up to life on the RICO. So the sex trafficking, he can get life. Up to life. On the RICO, he can get up to life. On the prostitution charge, he can get 10 years.
That's crazy.
Per charge, per count. 10 years per count. And those will.
But he did a bunch of times.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, he did that consecutive.
You know that shit for weeks.
You did.
Concurrently. As I told you before in our first conversation, I think the only thing they could get him on is the prostitution. I think the only thing they could get him on is the prostitution. So if they get him on the prostitution, Art, no matter how many counts they get him with, let's say they get him with 5 counts of prostitution, they run concurrently. That's 10 years. You don't have to do all your time in the feds.
You want to do 8?
You do not have to do all your time in the feds. He's home in 5 years. I think that's a victory for Puff. For what he was facing, life for RICO, life for sex trafficking, and you walk out with a couple counts of prostitution that carry 10 years of pop, I think that's a victory for Puff. And I
still think that's too much. 5 years. I think at the max, I'm just saying, I'm not the judge, but if I was a judge, at the max, 3 years. He already got 1 in. You ain't got to do the whole thing. He'll be out next year.
And what Umar said was, you don't have to do all your time with the feds.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
You got to do 85%.
Yeah, you got to. Right. Ain't no like you go halfway and just go to the state.
No. 10 years, you're going to do 8.5.
Yeah, you might do 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to do damn near. You're going to bring it to the door.
That's all I can see them hitting them with. That's the good news. The bad news, is I'm looking at this jury that he has.
I forgot about that.
What?
They took out the one black dude from the Bronx.
They all white?
I don't know if they all white, but they had one nigga that was like a nigga that clearly would have listened to Biggie and Puff and shit.
Right.
They had one of me. They had one of me sitting there.
And they took him out. Yeah, you.
Had 4 whites, 5 blacks, 2 Hispanics, and an Asian.
Okay.
One of the blacks got dismissed, and the judge brought on another white privileged male. So now, if I'm correct, there's 5 whites, 4 blacks, 2 Hispanics and an Asian. 12 people on the jury. They must come up with a unanimous decision.
That's still gonna be hung.
We know art. No disrespect to the Mexican people, no disrespect to the Asian people, but when it comes to black people, they rob with white people against us.
Yeah,
99%.
They vote white. We already know.
Right. Whatever they want, we with them.
Right. But them niggas need to hold the line. They do. Puffy piece of shit, and but you need to hold the line. This ain't right. This ain't right. The right thing was when Cassie got beat up to go to fucking police and then give him some time.
Right.
All this crazy shit. This is crazy. Nah.
So those 2 Hispanics, count them as white for purposes of Puffy's case. That one Asian, count that person as white for the sake of addition for Puffy's case. So basically you got 8 whites and 4 blacks. That's the part I don't like, Art. That's the part that I don't like. You got 8 whites, 4 blacks. 5 of them.
All you need is one of them blacks to be unemployed and him gotta get back to work.
That's it.
There's one black that
be like, yo,
with that $20 a day, be like, nigga, we sit there the next 6 months, nigga. I don't give a fuck.
Right, don't matter to me. And I'm a fan of Craig Mack, so I'm gonna go ahead.
Biggie Smalls the illest nigga.
Jurors are above the age of 60, I believe. 5 of them are either above the age of 50 or the age of 60. I think above the age of 60. Only 3 of them are under 40, and most of them are male, which means most of them are white male.
Yeah, but white men buy pussy. Well, dicks or whatever these niggas into. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they get it.
I don't know, man.
You know what I'm saying? They get it, this nigga.
We gonna find out.
Yeah, we gonna find out.
I'm concerned because I can see those white men being jealous of Puff. I mean, the man is basically a billionaire living life how he wants. Do they really want to let him out? Not for the sake of community security, but who is this nigga to have done better in life than me and I'm older than him? There's a scientist, somebody with a PhD on that jury. I just don't see the white men in this case looking favorably at Puff for reasons that don't even have anything to do with the charges. We are in America.
You could think that, but hip hop got so many.
Right.
They 50, 60, they might be hip hop fans.
Yeah, they might be fans.
Yeah, hip hop get
like,
old. 50, 60, nigga.
Right, they might be going home listening to G Dap as they going uptown.
Nigga, no way I'm convicting this nigga.
Them 2 Hispanics, I don't see them helping Puff. The Asian, I damn sure don't see them helping Puff. So, my best hope, short of the music industry putting a call into the jury, because they do that, they'll contact enough of them jurors, Art, and say, listen, we got a bag for you. This is what you need to do. And if you don't do it, we got a body bag for you. Which one you want, the bag of money or the body bag? So short of that happening, Art, I'm going to have to hope that the 4 remaining blacks are strong enough to stand up for our brother so that this case will result in a hung jury and Puffy goes home.
Yeah. That's probably that's his most likely path to immediate freedom. Right. Hung jury.
That's it.
Because I'm telling you, they had a nigga like me in there, nigga, I will never.
Until they come to you and say, look, we give you 100,000. We need you to vote this way.
For what?
He ain't gonna make it.
Can I send a Mr. Diddy asking what he got? See how
Can I weigh my options? All
right, let me know what you think, man. Are the brothers gonna hold the line? You know what I mean? Are the white men gonna hold the line? It's the Chinese.
Come on, man. Don't with the Oriental, man, because you know how you get the. Don't.
Let me know what y'all think. Get your votes in before the verdict drops. All right, next story. Mic check.
1, 2.